Mallory, thank you. And now only on WHAS 11 News, JCPS is down to two. The two men who want to be the next JCPS superintendent, the leader here in Louisville. They are now in Louisville. They're going to be meeting you, the public, tomorrow, but you're going to meet them exclusively first and only on WHAS 11 News at this hour. Ben Schuldiner will be here at 5:30. Right now, though, we want to begin with Dr. Brian Yearwood, who led the Columbia, Missouri School District until last year.
That's right. Doctor, thank you so much for being here. We certainly appreciate it. And we want to start off with just asking you, this is a huge school system that you're talking about coming to. Just cut $100 million from the budget. A lot of things going on, transportation issues. Folks want to know, why do you want to be the leader of JCPS?
When we look at school districts, every school district is unique. They have unique problems. And, you know, the problems that exist here in JCPS, it's not only here at JCPS. There are districts but different levels and that have issues. And I look at my skill set, and I want to make sure that wherever I land, I can have impact. I just don't want a job just to have a job. I want to have a job to elevate our students, to elevate our district, to make our community proud. And I saw, from looking for my reviews, that is something that I can do here in JCPS. So this is a very exciting time, although I know there's certain things that we need to work on.
Let's talk about the political reality, something that Marty Pollio, who is leaving, did not have to deal with 8 years ago, and that is Republicans control the politics in Kentucky and in Frankfort. They have been really on JCPS, scrutinizing it. They want to possibly break it up into different districts, depending on how they do with this hire, one of you two getting hired, and also the issues with DEI. How would you deal with the political force behind the scrutiny of JCPS?
Well, I believe in doing research first. I want to know why. I want to know why it's important to look at us this way. Why is it important to try to break us apart? Because breaking a school district apart doesn't necessarily end up in savings. You know, you must hire a superintendent in every district. That's the cost. You must hire a cabinet, etc. So I would be looking at reasons why. And, you know, just from my reading, I know there were issues with academics. Well, guess what? That's right up my wheelhouse. I'm an academic leader, a turnaround leader, and I can get us, you know, the academic progress that we need if given the opportunity. The financial crunch that we're in right now, I know there's some moves to rectify this. Again, let's go in and take a deep dive and look at opportunities. Look and see where the inefficiencies that we can work on to be able to, you know, overcome. And ultimately, the districts have been in where we had to go out, you know, to look at our taxes. We had to go out and raise taxes a bit so that we can support our school district.
You're for a tax increase, then?
Yes, yes. I would definitely be for a tax increase as long as every penny impacts our students and makes the lives of our students, makes the educational experience fantastic.
Let's talk about transportation. You had thousands of students here at JCPS that had transportation to school and then lost it. Then parents were given a stipend, and then that has been taken back because of the budget cuts. You've dealt with busing issues and problems finding bus drivers. What would you do here? Do you have any suggestions?
Yes. So the first thing that I'd be looking at is looking at the data and making sure that our actions are not depriving students from getting to school. We should not operate in such a manner that a young man can wake up ready for school but has nowhere, or young woman, and has nowhere to get there. So I'd be diving in and I'd be looking at impact, and I'll make sure that, again, our 97,000 students are getting the best educational experience possible. And if transportation is a deterrent, we need to talk about that.
One lingering question about your tenure at Missouri, which has ended. You're no longer the superintendent there. Has been the fact that the Columbia School Board voted to extend your contract through 2027. But months later, you left. You signed a non-disclosure agreement and got $700,000. Can you tell us why you left the school district? Were you forced out? Was there an issue with a board member? What happened there?
So I can say this. I did nothing unethical. I did nothing immoral. And I did nothing illegal. I'm a man of faith, and the honor of, I wouldn't do nothing to dishonor my family, nothing to dishonor myself. And there are times where there are differences of opinion, and things like this do happen. They do happen. But I assure you, it was nothing that touched on any of those.
Personal issues with a board member or more
Well,
than one?
Because of the non-disclosure agreement, I wish I could say more. I really, really wish I could say more.
We should say JCPS said they were aware of this in the search and we're fine and wanted to move on.
You couldn't tell them either, I understand.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about neighborhood schools, if we can, very quickly. There have been parents that were cold to the idea before that now are warming up to it. There have been faith leaders in many communities that said it's time now. And when you look at the transportation problem, is our neighborhood school something that you would consider in certain areas?
Oh, definitely. You know, we have over 155 schools here. And it's important that every family, every child, when they walk in that building, they walk in with a sense of pride. So it doesn't matter if a school has a label, doesn't have a label. We will have to work to make that environment a true quality environment so that every student walking in that door is exposed to high quality teaching, is exposed to experiences that propel them to become either the local, national, or on the global stage as far as the end result of their learning and their academics. That's what I'm after.
Well, you know you're going to hear a lot from the public tomorrow. I do want to wrap this up by saying I read somewhere that you call all the students scholars, that's your term, your insistence.
Yes, yes, that's me. That's personal. As I wear my pin, I say scholars first because I believe that every child has potential. It doesn't mean that every child has to be a doctor or lawyer, but every child has potential. Some small, some middle, some great. And as an educator, I've always prided myself in being able to pull that potential out and see students move to the next level, whatever that may be. And you'll hear me talk about this time and time again. Every child should demonstrate at least a year's worth of growth, minimally, in a year's time.
All right. Dr. Yearwood, thank you for joining us for part one of our exclusive interviews with the superintendent candidates. Good luck tomorrow. I know you all have a busy schedule.
Yes,
Already been in town for a while.
Yes, and I have to say, this is close to me being a man of faith. Many prayers to the citizens, to the residents of London. Hope that they recover quickly.
London, Kentucky.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you very much, sir. We appreciate that.
Yes.
You're invited to meet Dr. Brian Yearwood and Ben Schuldiner. By the way, Schuldiner will be here at 5:30. JCPS is having those two different public forums tomorrow. First one is from 4 to 6 p.m. at the JCPS Center for Professional Learning off of Newburgh Road. The second session is from 7 to 9 at Stouffer Elementary off Aiken Road in eastern Jefferson County.